Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's March 31st. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this is probably going to be a little quicker than usual. I already did this once today, and it had no sound. I don't know what happened. Um, all I had was a hum in the background. My phone rang the whole time on top of that, so it probably would have just been a headache to begin with. I'm actually turning the sound off on my phone for now. So no interference. And again, it probably won't be another 30 minutes worth because I just don't have the time to nor the energy to do another 30-minute video here. Um, it's a shame too because I talked about some good stuff, but I'll try to talk about everything else I talked about. I'll just try to abbreviate it. First thing I wanted to do was read you an email from a guy that's having some success. It's pretty exciting. I'm excited for him, and I'll read you his email, and he actually shares his performance. I won't share his name, I never do, and he asked me not to because since he shared his performance. But uh, here's what his email says. Mac, I was a bit shocked to see where I was this morning on my overall net profit. I'd just been trying to stop for the past 2 hours. I'd met my goal early this morning, but I just kept seeing setups, so I kept on trading. I always keep track by hand of my points. I just didn't do it after I made my goal since I was finished. And he puts finished in quotes there. When I went to print out my day, I was very surprised and it was very cool. I just wanted to share and say I could never have done this without your videos, your return of my emails, which probably drove and still does drive you a bit crazy, and your manual. I realize that I still have a lot to learn. I still watch your videos and say, what the heck? But then I usually see that something from that the next day or two. My win rate the past months has been at least 85%, so I am maybe possibly getting there. Still so humbled though after so many years of struggle. Hope this email will make it a bit easier to do your end of day videos, which I realize are a lot of time and work. Thanks. And he puts his name down there. But this is great. I'll show you his performance. I mean, this gentleman's trading at 85%, above 85%. That is pretty good. 13 wins, 2 losses today. $5,200 basically. 5,300 before commissions. He had $105 commissions. And the real thing to look at is his profit factor. Of course, this is one day. It may trend down from here. But this is a typical kind of day you can have when you get good at this. Um, People tell you can't win at 85, 90%. People tell you can't have a profit factor much over one. I mean, I just cringe when I hear that stuff. Um, and that's been probably the biggest reason they'll never have anything a profit factor over one is because they don't believe. If you don't think it can be done, do you think you'll ever really, as hard as trading is, if you really don't think it can ever be done, do you really think you'll ever have any success? I mean, you limit yourself by your beliefs. And if you believe it can't be done, then no, you'll never do it. And those are the haters that come out of the woodwork and try to knock all of this. And don't listen to them. Don't go to forums. I told somebody else that yesterday. Don't go to forums. Don't go to trading rooms. Don't be part of Facebook trading groups. Listen, trust me when I tell you this. No real traders hang out at those places ever. If they say they are, they're the wannabes that think they know everything and they'll take over and they'll start lead everybody astray. Trust me, if somebody understands and they're good at trading, what do you think they're doing? They're not hanging out at forums trying to help people that don't really want help and that don't believe them anyway. Traders that are really trading and making money are busy trading. That's what I try to tell people. That's the reason I don't have time to spend more on doing a lot of these things that I'd like to do teaching because this is just a hobby. I make my money trading. The rest of this is a hobby. If y'all knew what I made hourly by doing the teaching part, I mean, you'd laugh at me. It's probably $1 or $2 an hour if you add it all up the time I've spent on this based on what I make off of it. I don't do this for the money. Trust me. And so anyway, I'm glad this guy's having success and hope it continues for him. Once you kind of get this, it gets easier, but you got to get there. And this is not easy to learn because it's a skill. And I try to tell people it's like I mean, just like a world class piano player, they didn't get there by reading a manual on playing the piano. They didn't get there by having a teacher teach them how to play the piano and then practicing for a week or two and then jumping out there. Those musicians became world class musicians at playing the piano or being guitar players by working their fingers to the bone, practicing every day. While everybody else is off goofing off having fun, they were sitting at the house probably playing the piano or picking their guitar. That's how they got so good, by spending all that time at it. And trading is just the same way. It's a skill that you can hone, but you got to work hard at it. You can't come in here and trade for an hour on part-time while you do a full-time job and then expect in a few weeks or months you're going to be trading and making money. And that's what most people come into this thinking. And I get it. It's because there's so many people out there that want to sell you something. They'll tell you, oh, it's easy. I got this system, and you can easily make you $500 a day or $1,000 a day or $100 a day or whatever. And that's just because they want to sell you something. It's not that easy. Anybody that tells you it's easy, run from them as fast as you can. I'll leave it at that. So, but anyway, that's that. I'm glad you're having success. I had another guy write to me, and I'll just say this, and I actually marked up a chart here, and I'm just going to show you. He wrote to me. He says this is incredible. He says all I did was look for second entries this morning. I had 5 or 6 winners. Then he wrote me back this afternoon. He says, geez, it even worked from 11 o'clock in the afternoon in this downtrend, Pacific time. He says, I had 5 more winners. He says, it's incredible. And so really, you only need 2 or 3 good trades a day to make a really good living at this. You know, what I always try to tell people is, if you want to make more money, the key is not to take more trades. The key is to still find the best 2 or 3 trades every day, but you increase your leverage as you grow your leverage. You have to grow it slowly. Don't take that the wrong way, because you might get to where you're profitable with 2 contracts, but as soon as you add 3 or 4, that little bit of money messes with you mentally. And so it takes a while. It took me a long time to work up incrementally. I couldn't just trade 20 contracts overnight. It took me a long time to get to that amount. And you'll get to a point where you can't get much higher than that because it just messes with you mentally. And you really won't need to get much higher than that unless, you can make all of them. If you can afford to trade 20 contracts a day and you can make 2 or 3 trades and make 5 or 6 points a day trading that many contracts, you can do the math and see what that works out to be a day. That's 100 points a day or so. If it won't take long till you got a lot of money if you can trade like that. And if you really want to, you can continue to work on building it. I mean, at some point, how much money does a person need? I know that's different for everybody. I know some people that just say, hey, if I could just make $100 a day, I can live like a king where I'm at. And, some places in the United States, $1,000 a day won't do you any good. So it just depends on your mentality, where you live, where what the cost of living is where you're at, and what makes you happy. So, but it can be done. But anyway, again, you just don't have to have all these trades. You only need 2 or 3, or at the most 3 or 4 trades a day. And again, don't try to make more trades, because every time you enter the market, there's a risk of loss. So the more you can reduce that, the more you can reduce your risk, in my opinion. So if you wait and find the easy trades, and I'm just going to point out, all of these circles are quick, easy. I just glanced through the chart to find good second entries. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 right there that I just glanced on the chart and found in a few minutes. And I'll show you each one of them. So if you couldn't find you 2 or 3 good trades out of this, then, don't scan constantly for an entry. The entries happen at the key entry points. Here, here's a key entry point. all these trend lines and support and resistance line. The trend lines are just slanted support and resistance lines. That's all they are. Instead of being horizontal, they're slanted. And that's where all the magic happens, at the key entry points. So it'll be off the resistance or off the support. And that's the way it works. So when you find these setups at those locations, then you know you found something. But here's the second entry. Notice we went into a range right here. And you made a new low and you moved up. You get a first entry. And then you get another higher low. When it broke, let me make this bigger here. When it broke lower right there, that was a second entry short, right off the resistance of a range. And notice that's a quick, easy move. And then now look, going off the high, that's basically a double top, and you get a first entry, and you come down here and you get a second entry long right there. And this is one of those where it broke lower and turned and went up, but it gives you a chance to enter off the support of a range. That's obvious range right there. You can see that. And it gives you a chance to enter at the very low down here, and so you can ride it all the way up. And that's where you would look to exit most likely, right up here next to this, where the resistance is. So if you enter here, you can ride this all the way and get out a tick or so in front of it. And I believe that's probably, I mean, that's a 10-point range. It doesn't look like it, but it's a 10-point range. I circled this one. Somebody actually sent me an email and about real tight ranges. You know, he says, you don't get many second entries in here. No, you don't. The way you have to enter these is just hope you get a good signal bar close to the key entry point. And you know, there's a couple of them in there. There's one there, one there, one there. But look right here. There's a new high, first entry, second entry, a nice small bar, second entry long right off the key entry point. Obviously, the further you get away from this EMA, the more dangerous an entry gets. But if you see a second entry like that in that tight of a range with a good signal bar, and that is an inside bar, but they made matching lows, so you can use that for your signal bar. It's not quite the same. That's a good setup. Here's a couple. We went back into another range here. Notice we came off the low, first entry, second entry. Second entry short. We're making lower highs and lower lows now. Easy setup. And we came, notice the low there, first entry, second entry, right off the top. Just make sure you got enough room to get out there, but that's a second entry short. Off it goes. Here we're moving up. Pull back first entry, and you pull back, and this is another one. It broke outside and turned up. This is almost a, it's almost the exact same setup we had right here. It's like a perfect repeat, really. So you can see that right there, and you could have entered that. It broke lower and turned up, so you could have put a buy stop right there. You could have waited for this to finish, put a buy stop there, or you could have waited, see if it broke above this bar and put your buy stop back here one tick above that bar, and see, or just somewhere back in here, see if it pulls back and fills you. But we're not really talking about that. I just wanted to show you quick second entries. Now we're working downtrend. We got a downtrend again here. Notice that low, first entry, second entry, nice bearish bar, quick, easy move. Makes another new low. First entry, comes back to the key entry point, second entry. Again, that's an inside bar, but it's got a matching high, so you can count, you can use that one. It's a key entry point. That's a good setup. And look at that move. If you catch a runner there, got an incredible move. All right, here's another one. You started working lower again off the midline. Look at that low. First entry, second entry. Actually, I looked at that wrong. There's your new low. First entry, and then second entry. This one actually broke higher and turned down. Didn't go out the other side, but when it closed right there, put a sell stop. Another quick, easy move. Second entry short. Here's one off the main key entry point. Notice that low's lower than that one, so you count zero. First entry, second entry. Nice little small bearish bar. Way away from the EMA. That's as good as it gets. Easy short. Here's another one. We're just kind of, you got some resistance here. Notice that new low, first entry, second entry right off a strong resistance area. Big bearish bar. It actually broke higher and turned and went out the other side. Nice entry. And you know, these are all over the place. So uh, hopefully that's helpful to you. If you just waited on those trades right there, one of those, just waited on one or two of those. You just need to make $100 a day. Just one of those trades would have made you a quick $100. So anyway, my headphones beeping at me that my battery's dead. So maybe that's, I hope and pray I've got sound on this video, but I'm not going to push it any further because maybe that's why I didn't get any sound before. Maybe my battery's not quite right on this thing. It needs charging. So, but anyway, I hope that's all helpful to you. I hate that we lost 15 minutes worth of video. I basically went over all the same things. I maybe went into a little more depth on some stuff and maybe talked about this chart a little more. So we did lose some of that, but basically this is a range day. You can see that this was your overnight low, your overnight high. So when we turned down up here and didn't quite make that back up to the overnight high, that's not a good sign. It means we're probably going to sell off strongly. And your target down here would be the lows. And you might even push a little further since we came up short. And you can see that's exactly what happened. But this is a range day. We just trended up and down within the range until finally down here we broke lower. And it looks like right now where the market's closed for I think it closes from 4 to 5 again. But it looks like we haven't really rallied out of there from 3:30 till 4 or whatever. And then I don't think we'll open back up till 5 my time, I think, is the way it works now. But anyway, this thing's beeping at me. I may not have any voice now going on anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up just to make sure we don't lose this again. But this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.